last night, but I heard you, King. Y'all, powerful. Put your hands together as he comes to the stage. Azeem, Majeed.
So beautiful. Alhamdulillah, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah. I'm over all of emotions right now. This is such a wonderful experience. I stand before you all not as a polished statue, perfectly carved from stone, but I stand as a mosaic. And for those who don't know, a mosaic is a work of art from broken pieces that when formed together, it creates something more beautiful, more stronger, more resilient than the original whole. My name is Azeem Majeed. A little bit about my backstory. I was born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia. I grew up in straitened circumstances. I struggled with anger as a child. I struggled with alcohol addiction. I had many struggles, but at the age of 17, I found myself sitting in a Norfolk detention home, charged with capital murder, 2 counts of robbery, malicious wounding, and assault and battery. But what made matters worse was that I had no recollection of the crime. It was a result of my alcohol addiction, a result of my uncontrolled anger. I was certified to be charged as an adult, subsequently tried and convicted, and sentenced to serve 2 consecutive life without parole sentences plus 29 years. I say that because I want you to really understand why I say that I stand before you as a mosaic, right? It's a miracle that I'm standing here on this stage today. When I entered into the Virginia Department of Corrections, I knew that that was the type of life that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life living. I knew that I deserved better than that. So I started putting forth the effort to evolve into a better version of myself. And I've done that consistently for 26 years. But before I move forward, I want to share with you all a statement that's changed my life, right? But not only from a religious perspective, but I want to share it from a secular perspective. And the statement, it goes, Terami Menina, you see the believers. When I look around this room today, I see beautiful people, I see believers. What do I mean when I say this? Terami Menina, you see the believers in the gods. Of their compassion towards one another, and caring about one another, and their love towards one another, resembling a body, so that if one part of your body is sick, if one part is hurt, the entire body suffers from sleeplessness and insomnia. I'm standing here today as a result of people who felt like they were part of that body, right? That body of curing the injustices that was committed upon juvenile offenders here in America. The United States Supreme Court, when they issued the landmark ruling in Miller versus Alabama and held that it was unconstitutional who vacated my life sentences after bringing my habeas corpus. She was a part of that body. She suffered from sleeplessness and insomnia. See, because when you consider yourself a part of your body, right, you feel you have a duty to ensure that your body is healthy. And that's going to motivate you to do whatever it is that's necessary to ensure that this body is restored to full strength. Whatever part of that body, whether it's the head, whether it's the leg, whether it's the arm, whether it's the eyes. And how can we cut off children from that body, right? And say that we're not attached to the body of our children. This is what happens when I was sentenced to those 2 consecutive life without parole sentences for 29 years. It was like 2 consecutive life without parole sentences. It was like umbilical cords wrapped around my young neck, choking the young life out of me when I entered that prison. Took away the hope. And then, Judge Majeed Hall, the phenomenal circuit court judge in Norfolk, Virginia, who sentenced me to a sentence that allowed me to be free again out of society as my first chance. I'm talking about first chances now. My first chance to be free out of society as an adult. She considered herself a part of that body. But still, the finish line was pulled further away from me after my resentencing, right? And we all know Governor Northam signed into law HB 35, the bill that allowed juvenile offenders to be eligible for parole after serving 20 years of their sentence. That applied to me on my new sentence in a phenomenal parole board at that particular time. I'm a recipient of you, Ms. Kemba. You consider yourself a part of the body. You suffer from sleeplessness and insomnia, right? I'm a recipient of Sandra Brandt, the phenomenal Sandra Brandt of Step Up. Who sat in that courtroom and sat on the stand and took a chance on me, an individual, when she studied my life and seen the work that I'd done while I was in the Virginia Department of Corrections, and she sat in on that stand in the courtroom and told the judge that she believed in me, that she supported me. I'm a result of so many people believing in me. She considered herself a part of the body. See, we all are part of this human race. And I was granted parole and released on September the 10th, 2021. So, since being released, I could, done a lot of phenomenal work out here in society. I'm not going to get into that, right? You can read some of the work that I've done. But what I want to say today is, thank you all for considering yourself for being part of the body. See, the fact that you're in here now, this is why I say that when you see the believers, this is an example, right, of what you see. When you see them in regards to their love and compassion for one another, resembling the body. Come out that religious side. So if one part of the body, these individuals, these wonderful brothers here at Lawrenceville Correctional Center, they are part of that body. And everybody in this room right now, we consider them, we're saying by being here, you're saying that we're not amputating you. We want to treat you. We want to restore you back to home. And now that I remember how it felt to sit in that cell, hopeless, to have other people up here reject you. Imagine confinement is just not sitting in those cells, right? Confinement is the shame that we grew up in. Confinement is the guilt. Confinement is poverty. Confinement is being written off before we even had the opportunity to write our own ending. That is confinement. So imagine being a victim of your own circumstance, and imagine being socialized by the environment that you was raised up in. We have so many people that's in prison that grew up in poverty that didn't have the energy or the ability to extricate themselves from their crime unstable environments. So they've been socialized by those environments. They was abused, many were molested. We can't do what we don't know. Right? And we're not giving any alternative methods or alternative methods, right, to attain a particular goal. How can adults expect us to attain that goal? And then when we act out of emotions, I didn't have the ability, right? I didn't have the ability to place labels on my emotions when I was a child and to be able to express myself. So I acted out. I was never mad. No child is born mad. So I'm going to conclude with this. Imagine being 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, not knowing how to behave in a responsible way. And people telling you to man up and woman up, but you don't even, the woman and the man in your life don't even know how to be women and men. And you're just imitating what you see. Right? And now you're locked up as a consequence of actions that you engaged in, but you was just impulsive. And imagine aging out of that crime, that antisocial behavior. And now you're getting to the point where you're saying, I know I'm not that person. I know how that feels. I know how that feels. I know how that feels. To say, why y'all considering me not a part of this body? That wasn't me. This is me. So I conclude with this. Thank you all for being believers and being a part of this body. Thank you for having those restless nights. Getting up tired. Sometimes we get up tired. Sometimes we don't even feel like doing the work, right? Because we're tired and we're exhausted. But as I always say, as Jim Kemba said, the self-leaders are the people who do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, regardless of whether you feel like doing it or not. And when you get up and you do it well. This is the self-leader. People who are part of that body. So this returning citizens, fifth annual returning citizens, boost this luncheon, I want to say this. It's not about charity. It's about investments. The returning citizens, we are not damaged goods. We are intact resources. Y'all walking with me. So I just want to thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for the work that you do. Thank you, Kemba. Thank you, Ms. Brandt. Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Thank you, everyone who has considered themselves a part of the body and contributed to juvenile offenders securing their first chance to be free out of society as an adult, and other youthful offenders, those who are over the age of 18, contributing to their second chance to be free out of society as a young man or woman or as an adult. Thank you all. I love you, and let's keep the show moving forward.